Yeah.
We know they're going to go for Drakes. It's kind of predictable to see where they're going to be, where they're going to be trying to go for Vision. So maybe they slow it down today, clean that up. Team fighting, the other big thing that we're looking at. I'm really hoping to see a composition for NAVI that sets them up for straightforward, easy team fighting. I think that's always when they've looked at their best. For now, though, we see a lot of the simpler, more reliable engage options actually being taken away as NAVI try to limit Isma on the opposite side with the Vi and the J4.
The thing is, though, we need to see Rhilech on some spice. I don't want to see Rhilech in Sao. I don't want to see that. I want to see him on the Aatrox. I want to see him on the Ambessa, already taken out by GIANTX. I mean, they're targeting him clearly with the Ambessa and the Sion ban, but I don't want to see him on a traditional jungler. I want him to show that uniqueness that he's brought to the league.
I was surprised to see the Rumble ban come through in the last rotation, because for me, it feels like they're trying to set up for an Orianna first pick, but it does mean the Varus managed to slip through the draft. So Sam D going to be very happy to get his hands on that one.
Yeah, really strong power pick. Probably going to be the Jhin, I would assume. Answer from Noah could also be the Ezreal, just have a little bit more mobility. Two kind of fine answers into the Varus, but neither is like winning. It's like you're kind of happy handshaking the matchup. But overall, it's jungle that I'm really keeping my eyes on. I'm really curious, especially now both sides have decided to target out the junglers. What does Isma look to go for? Looks like it's going to be the Pantheon, which is a really strong early game champion, has that great like overall global coverage with the ultimate, so a lot of proactivity there. I just want to see what Rhilech is going to pick. That's like the only thing that I'm really excited about.
We can tell. This is the only time you've not wanted to talk about bot lane in any game I've ever
okay, it's Ezreal Varus. You know, like wait, I can see that from a mile ahead. You know?
yeah, okay. Ezreal Varus, the Pantheon locked in now. A lot of times last year it was all about these jungle mid lane combos. We saw G2 most recently bust out the Talia Vi again, returning to that. Pantheon, a great part of any of those kind of kill setup combos.
But the thing is here, do you try and take away the Talia from the Pantheon, which is kind of what we've seen that regularly pair with, or just go for the Azir, which is kind of the stronger pick in a lot of people's minds? And also has that kind of consistent damage, so I think it's probably going to be the Azir to try and pair with it, but
yeah,
exactly, yeah. But it does mean that Jackie should get his hands on the Talia here, which honestly sets up for a pretty terrifying 1-3-1 situation here with a lot of those semi-globals.
Yeah, you have a ton of mobility with the Pantheon Talia, as you said, Dagda. I do want to highlight, though, that Sion for Maynter, match made in heaven. I think Sion and Cassandra have really been the two best picks for him. It does open up the Gwen pick, which we saw BB have a phenomenal performance on. But in this game, it's Gwen up against a lot more range in the Azir and the Varus. And what you really want to now draft as the 4-5 as NAVI, you want to draft champions that are not too committal. Champions that can kind of bait out the Gwen W and then play around it, stuff like Rakan, and not really just like something like a Nautilus that just goes straight in.
I am surprised they went for the Gwen, though. I thought they'd take the Talia, leave top for your next rotations, because you have like Gwen, you still have the Gnar, you still have like other picks that you can kind of take into that side on the top side. True. Still have a decent time. But it does mean, I imagine, Navi will start to focus away those mid lane pools. And unless you're still feeling like you can go for something like an Akali or something along these lines into the Azir, I'm kind of unsure what Jackie's wants to take. I mean, probably Yone or else the Akali is probably what he's thinking here.
Yeah, I think Yone makes a ton of sense. You already have the AP from the Gwen, and it's a good matchup into the Azir. Then you can also, like, wherever the Sion goes, he's going to be losing, whether he's up against the Gwen or the Yone. So I think that would be a really good option for them. As to your point about taking the Gwen, I would normally agree with you like that, but after seeing Broken Blade on that Gwen, I would feel pretty inspired to lock that Gwen pick myself.
And it looks like Champ's like not updating, but the Nautilus is the blank ban currently, so the one we can't see. So that has been taken away, not giving them the option of that Camille champion. And you're right, I'm nervous for both these top laners, though. For Maynter, he's on tanks. This is what we kind of come to expect. If his jungler wants to cook, he needs to, you know, take a back seat, be the sous chef for this particular composition. For Lot, he had kind of one pretty good Sion game yesterday. He had a really rough Cassandra game into Gnar, and I'm wondering if he's up to the task to really push this lead in a big way and make sure that the Gwen can deliver outside of just the laning phase.
Yeah, the thing is, the Gwen will more than likely be left alone in this top side and should be able to just win out by itself. I think the curiosity for me more is like, how do GIANTX try and shut down what has been the game plan for NAVI? Because in theory, with Varus pushing lane, in mid lane for Azir, probably have a pushing lane with the way the draft has gone. So that makes it very easy for Navi to start stacking these early dragons. And I think for GIANTX, they kind of need to find something that can match that early pressure. At least the Aurora can clear waves very quickly.
I mean, Aurora has a lot of skirmishing power. I will say that the one thing is Ezreal, depending on what they get for the support, can get pushed in those early levels, but once Varus gets that serrated dirt, while Ezreal's sitting on like a tier and all crazy items, that's when Varus really starts to bully him and push him in.
Because I think you can just take Neeko here if you want to as Navi, and then you got.
Then you're definitely getting the push. Yeah. I'm sure if you're taking Neeko, that's like a cheat.
It feels like a pretty big slam dunk. Instead, Bard going to be the option here, and okay. This is an insane Bard angle. And by that I mean not like legitimately crazy
it's
in
a
the
tough
head.
Bard game. It's very hard to land an ultimate.
Every single champion on the enemy team, except for the Pantheon, has a reliable dash. So
it feels like more of a takeaway, because oftentimes you kind of see,
okay, well, we wanted spice from Leah. Go ahead, Jack.
Hey,
You've been waiting.
Qiyana was banned, I think, throughout most of the regular season against Rhilech. He's a huge Qiyana player in solo queue, and it's a fantastic game for it because it's such a squishy GIANTX comp that he can actually one-shot pretty much all 5 members. Jun ending up locking on the Neeko there. That's just another target for Rhilech, even though they're going to have a good bot lane matchup.
And also, the last time we saw Rhilech play the Qiyana, it was Poby on the Azir, and they used that combo so well with the Azir Emperor's Divide into the Qiyana to set up kills around this mid lane. So I think Jackie's is going to have a lot of attention after that level 6 in that mid lane.
There is an incredible amount of playmaking power on the side of this GX lineup. They're very squishy, though.
Yeah.
Gwen, some pseudo-tankiness to be certain. Pantheon as well with the Aegis Assault, right? Able to block a lot of that damage, but face checking, luckily they have the cheat code in the form of Neeko, the one range support that can just guaranteedly always give you a bit more space, give you a bit more control, and it's pretty high stakes, honestly, for both sides, because if this GIANTX roster gets ahead at all, it's really easy to see how they can just dismantle this Navi composition.
There's a heavy burden on Lot this game, because if Lot loses lane to Maynter or something goes wrong about this Gwen, Sion is not dying in this game. We're going to have a knock-knock situation, a second raid boss on our hands here, because Ezreal and Aurora, they don't kill tanks very fast at all, so Lot needs to be winning this lane, getting early game pressure so that he always has that tank killing threat and can threaten in the side lane.
Pressure on him, most certainly. On the opposite side for Noah, of course, the bot lane somewhere we're going to be looking a ton, or excuse me, for Samdi. Everyone on the enemy team is squishy. The Pantheon and the Gwen can, of course, use major cooldowns to block that piercing arrow, but if he's able to find that connection, it could be massive. Heading in now to this first best of 3 of the day. Winner moving on to top 4 to Barcelona. Loser eliminated. And it looks like
We have a pause. Is it another rune?
Is it runes?
Like GIANTX paused every game. No, 2 out of 3 games.
2 out of 3 games yesterday for rune props, but
I mean, everything looks pretty
normal.
standard.
Could be secondary runes. We are completely speculating.
We're completely speculating. So, the only information that we have is GIANTX has initiated a pause. They've reported to league officials. We'll keep you up to date. If you've been here this weekend, we've done this once or twice. And you might think, pro players, they can set their own runes, and you'd be wrong. Because sometimes in the heat of the moment when you're talking about what do we do at level 2, level 3, how do we win the lane, you forget. That said, we still haven't confirmed that it's anything to do with the runes.
I'm studying the runes.
Just audio adjustments.
Okay, it was not the runes. Yeah, the runes look pretty normal. I was only thing is, Lot has Conquer, which is a nice scaling option, but it doesn't have a lot of early game pressure.
Sure.
You see sometimes the Grasp just have a little bit early game trades, but it does make sense since he's up against the Sion. Should be a pretty comfortable laning phase regardless, so he doesn't need to opt into really strong early game runes.
Fair. All right, we're about now to get into game, so apologies for the brief pause to double check the runes. It was an audio issue. We were just speculating about the runes. Players seem to have resolved it. You don't want any one person on your team to be too loud, you know?
That is true.
Because we could simulate it here. We could just turn Jackspektra up to 1,000,000.
Yeah, it does feel like you have a lot of power just being able to randomly hold people's mute buttons as you want.
This is classic. That's one of my favorite moments ever is we had a caster, I won't name names, hold down someone else's cough button, which stops your audio from going live, and then coughed.
I think I've done that. I'm pretty sure I've done that at Worlds.
I might have been talking about you. You don't know. You don't know.
Also, we missed it, but I like how the producers pulled up a graphic of GIANTX team runes, just in case anybody missed the runes here. As heavy trading on bot lane, you'd really want to win this level 1 trade as the Neeko Ezreal. Ezreal has a lot stronger level 1 with the passive stacking up the attack speed, and Neeko level 1 is an absolute menace. But trades going pretty well in the favor of Samdi and Parus, especially as well with Samdi having that teleport. You can take some decently losing trades in the early game and then always TP back and be quite alright, while Noah opting to go for that cleanse, just to have that CC removal up against the Varus and Bard.
Interesting pattern as well from Rhilech. Started on his Raptors, now going to clear his top side. There was no ward actually placed, so they don't really spot this. But he will end up on that bottom side, so I'm curious if they want to try and make something happen on the bottom side, or if it's more about trying to separate yourself from this Pantheon and make sure that if he does go for invade, there's nothing there. Because you can see there's a ward that was just placed by Jackie's on the Raptors, so they should, in theory, think that he's clearing up towards his top side. So maybe it's just try to avoid that.
Yeah, I think he's worried about an invade, because normally you'd only want to do this sort of pathing either to do an early gank, which is not really going to happen, or if you're worried about an invade, because it desyncs your camp timers a little bit and just slows down your overall clear quite a bit. You can see that Isma is already finishing his wolves, about to head to Grom, while Rhilech still hasn't started his red buff yet.
Yeah, I think he might have just been seen on the ward, but there was no pings on him, so may not have actually been spotted. So Rhilech now on this bottom side at least, like, no real hope of an invade, and as you're saying, just separates, but I wasn't sure if he got spotted.
It will be interesting to see if his presence is unnoticed on the bottom side if GX didn't get that vision and kind of have this false sense of security, because at that point you will have gained something from this kind of intangible, otherwise intangible gamble of kind of messing up your pathing just to avoid showing up on vision or showing up on vision earlier, so they can't quite tell what you're doing.
There could be a realistic opportunity for a gank here on bot, but it doesn't look like Rhilech is too interested in it. He's just going to go for the top crab. Only thing is that GIANTX, since they thought he was pathing towards top, you see that they didn't actually ward Tribush whatsoever. They weren't worried about it. And now Isma puts another ward just to spot that second Raptor spawn. And he's quite a bit ahead in tempo here as Rhilech is starting the crab while Isma's already in base.
Difficult position, but of course fighting the Pantheon early is just so tricky. You don't have too much damage quite yet, as the Qiyana, the reliable stun, the ability to block all of your burst. Pantheon not a champion you want to go toe-to-toe with, and it seems to be a similar story for Aurora, as Poby is slowly but surely getting bullied out in this lane.
Yeah, it's because, like, even I've seen some Qiyanas who are just, like, clear on bot side from, like, Raptor's red into Krugs, actually go for a reset, pick up a longsword, then go top side, because they end up so low in the clear and you are scared of some invades. But you can see now, already the pings are going down, and if he was spotted on that ward, you should be able to click on him as Isma and say, okay, Rhilech has full clear, it is now, hasn't reset as well. At least you should have that information as well. So I think Rhilech should have, or Isma, sorry, should have full information on exactly what Rhilech is up to.
For now, though, just going to clear out the Gromps. We see a bit of a push coming in here from the NAVI bottom lane. This is exactly where they want to be up against the Ezreal, although rather than trying to hold this pressure, get a plate, they are just going to reset. No need to risk anything. They don't have information on Isma does. They don't have the luxury that GX have of spotting out the enemy jungler thus far.
Pretty happy with this early laning phase from Navi, though. Somebody's going to be able to TP back now, so this wave is... I'm not sure. I think GIANTX didn't choose to reset in the end. I mean, they kind of wanted to hold it a little bit, but somebody's not going to lose any minutes on this recall. And being up early CS, up against this Ezreal Neeko early on, feels really good, because now you can see he already comes back, lands that arrow, and chunks down Noah. And this is when the matchup starts to shift into Varus' favor, because it's very little counterplay for Noah, as you can see. He just gets hit by an E, he gets hit by a Q from Fog, and suddenly Ezreal goes to half HP.
Both junglers sprinting down towards the bottom side, though. Looks like Rhilech may be hoping to catch the Krug respawn, as Isma has already started the Gromp, but Rhilech moving into lane first. They know they have vision control. Parus fought for it just a little bit earlier.
Yeah, I think for Rhilech, it's more about trying to cover this and shadow the push in, guarantee that they're not going to have the Pantheon come in, because you can see here, he's just on time. But the wave is cleared, and everyone going to back away. The crab is spawning on that top side, and I think for Rhilech, you're kind of happy if you can clear out these Krugs, move top, pick that up, and even if you have to lose the early dragon, I don't think it's the end of the world, just with the champion that you have.
I feel like Rhilech could look to start Drake here. They know that Noah based. I'm not sure how fast he could solo it, if he's a bit worried about that. Potentially on a different jungler, it would be good to start Drake, but it looks like it's just going to be Samdi.
Unconnecting on a Jun, only level 5 for Samdi, but he does a lot of damage. Heal coming out, the Q, we're not going to see if it connects. There might be a fight in the mid lane as Rhilech is already here. Push back, but Jackie's manages to get away with between worlds, and sadly that play is going to fizzle. Rhilech has to be careful about walking this brush, though, because Isma is there and waiting. It's the empowered triple autos just to stack up the passive, and neither side going to get much else, and Jun lived in the bottom side. We had to pan away, but he did live.
The Maynter moving down, though, to help out with Rhilech to actually pick up the crab, so he'll be able to hit that level 6. Isma trying to get in range for the smite, but actually a nice pickup for Rhilech. I didn't think he'd be able to get that.
Yeah, especially since like he got chunked by Isma and kind of forced out a river, and then Isma just forfeited it. I think it was just the Maynter move that allowed him to secure the crab. Now Jun is looking for a sneaky minion play, but I think Poby knows.
That minion started sweeping. He knows for sure now. Leaving the lane, we've seen that
You never
one
know
before.
minions these days, huh?
Yeah, it's fair. Well, there's a clone that is going to spot out Rhilech, at least clearing onto the Raptors.
Somebody must know he's here.
That's
Doesn't look like
that's
it.
not a minion. Flash over. Manages to make it through.
Okay, flash for flash. I'd say pretty good for Jun. Means it's now a target on somebody's back, especially as Isma is about to hit that level 6 mark. Oh, yeah, he's going in.
But Poby's just going to dash away. Still has a very healthy health lead.
I'm surprised Samdi got caught though, because you saw the clone there.
Okay.
What is happening?
Okay.
We need to chill.
Guys, we just forced enemy ADC flash. Why are we ulting mid?
Coming on a little too strong, a little too keen there in the mid lane. That ulti is going to go awry, which sucks. Parus still has his, but now Noah. Oh, he's making good on the tweets.
Oh, he didn't get the heal.
Noah still wants to go for more.
Noah.
Q. Okay.
That was close.
He's not done.
No way.
Okay.
Close.
Because we don't have that tweet ready to go in a graphic, but that would have been the time to play it. We also probably couldn't play it because it is a swear word there.
It's a quiz word. We can't say that.
we don't want to say that. We don't say family.
Why did we put on the princess poster?
I don't know. But this brings us back to one of the things we were talking about coming into this game. Well, we have time to talk about stuff that isn't them taking this Drake? Maybe not. This would be very nice for GX, as we've said with Navi so many times. They're the Drake team. They're the poster child of taking Drakes, winning the game via that option, but the trade on the bottom side, forcing Parus back. Navi's behind the play.
Jackie's does have prio. Poby's forced to catch the wave, but Navi wants to force them off, and GIANTX are not willing to stick around. Isma already got chunked by the Drake a bit, so not just like both teams, it's very clear they really value this dragon, because whenever one of them go there, the other wants to match and try to stop them.
I think GIANTX were trying to play off the push they had in mid, but couldn't do it fast enough. And now Poby with control has his ult. Jackie still doesn't have his available. Sam D's is now up. So I think just GIANTX trying to find that small timing window and couldn't quite get it. So now Navi back in position, but Isma still sticking around.
This time is a battle for the crabs. Both junglers have smite.
Dash in, bit of extra damage, follow-up burst there. Aegis Assault already burned. Bit premature from Isma. Now he's locked up. Jun might have to try and turn this one back. He does have Axe pop. Also perfectly timed ulti from Rhilech. Follow-up. All of Navi push their R buttons, and it's a quick double kill.
And that's why we get the Rhilech Qiyana. No Sin Sao, none of that bull crap. I want to see this. This is the aggression from Rhilech. It gets them 2 kills and the first Drake that Navi was so desperately playing for.
And it's classic Navi. Like, good push on mid, Poby moving across, Parus there to help, playing for these picks around Rhilech in mid lane and in these skirmishes. And honestly, Isma shouldn't have been here. He didn't have control over bot, Poby had control of mid, and we just highlighted the ult advantage. But this was great from Rhilech. Perfectly timed, catches Jun as well, and then with the portal, Sam D's just in a position to follow up so well.
Yeah, Isma tried to contest the crab, as you said, Dagda, but he ain't got no prios. And Navi pounced on the opportunity. Now the next objective is those grubs, as both teams want to play for it, but that is a profane Hydra completed on Rhilech with his 1,000 gold lead.
It's a bit terrifying as Jun now moves into the bot lane. Noah's in trouble. Arcane Shift coming out just in time, but gentlemen, Navi getting exactly what they want, playing into a hand that we've known about pretty much all season. First in First Dragon, overall first in Drake percent, Herald percent, Soul percent. There's not a grub percent on there, so I imagine occasionally they give that one up. Or we just ran out of space to say how diligent this team is on taking objectives. We ran out of space. Production is confirmed we could only fit 4 things there. So they're just basically #1 in everything.
It's also like grubs just kind of don't matter as much anymore.
Nah,
like, let's be real, like the crystals just kind of took their role.
You can't tell them that, you know, we're supposed to pretend. We're like, guys, there wasn't
space.
space.
Can they hear this? Can they hear this? I thought they couldn't hear that. I thought we put them out.
We should have. But now they know how you really feel, Dagda. There's no going back. This is going to be embarrassing.
Have to get like water with them later, and it's just going to be an awkward conversation. Hey.
Yeah. Well, with any luck, someone will kill him soon, and we won't have that problem.
The best way to solve your problems. Awkward interaction, no.
Yep. And on that note, we'll move along in the context of this game. 1.5k lead for Navi, obviously going much better than they even originally anticipated. And while the GX composition has a lot of tools to kick fights off, and certainly Law is making good on his topside counter pick, they haven't been able to build a greater advantage. A lot of these initial ults are going awry, and Jun is now running for his life. Now here comes the Pantheon. Excellent portal coming in from Parus. That's a bit of follow-up from Rhilech. Is going to stun Isma as well. Rhilech getting chunked out by Noah. The Qiyana is still very squishy. Jun on the way in is going to catch Parus. Parus manages to ult himself, it looks like. Will still die in the end, but the Q through to finish it.
Oh, what a good ulti from Parus there. It buys him enough time to set up Sound D for the chains. And that takes Jun down and makes what looked dire for Navi a 1-for-1. And GX invested so much in that. Jackie's used his ultimate, he moved, lost the plate on mid, and lost the wave on mid. So that just resulting in a 1-for-1 feels so bad for GIANTX.
Especially the Pantheon ultimate as well. It just minimizes the impact Isma can have on the map again, because you're using it defensively. And again, it's just Navi playing well around this jungle support combo. Jun caught out in river, they collapse well, and this is where it kind of looks a little dicey. But again, like, they're just able to get out. You have to try and escape as Noah, because you cannot fight Rhilech when he's this strong. And Parus with just a good ultimate to set up for the rest of us.
And good arcane chip from No to escape, because that is, for Rhilech, 100-0 combo if he connects on both the ulti as well as the follow-up Q. Of course, Parus playing well. Backing up a lot of the trash talk. You know, I kind of felt out of pocket. I didn't know what kind of relationship these players had. Noah was just firing shots, but Parus didn't hesitate to fire back when we were checking in with them with one of the mini Sjokz clones before kicking off here. And now, guys, this game is looking like it's just going to get harder and harder to play, because the Gwen that's supposed to dominate in the side lane, she's not playing against the Sion anymore. She's playing against a pretty fed Varus and a Bard.
That's true. She has silently accumulated a 700 gold lead, but that might disappear, as you say, Dracos, as she now has to sit and watch Samdi and Parus hit her tower. So this is really not the lane assignment that GIANTX want. So they want to try to put Noah, or they're putting Jun right now.
I mean, you said it, right? The Gwen is the person that can kill the Sion, that can kill Maynter. Jackie's, Noah, they can't stop this man from just pushing waves and walking away.
True. Especially with so much magic resist on Maynter already. He's going to be really chill into either side lane. And that's why I had some doubts when I saw this Aurora locked in. And I would have loved to see them go for the Yone, but it was cleverly banned out by Navi, so they weren't able to go for it. But the problem you run into is that it's so easy for Navi to just continue to mismatch, and for Lot to then not be able to have this side lane threat that we really need him to have.
Of course, for Navi, though, still have to play with that level of diligence. We've seen them caught a lot in positions like Parus is in now, where he's going in to place some of this vision. Mid lane not pushed all the way in, potentially a spot where he could have been vulnerable, but is able to just walk away here. Another plate goes over to Poby, so for now, all is well, but you've got the Neeko for these creative angles. You've got the Pantheon as well. Isma's ulti very soon to come off of cooldown, and maybe that is when GX can attack one of these side laners.
I think at the moment it's just trying to play for Dragon in 15 seconds, like get some vision down so you can continue to push Poby on the top side and try and play for that next objective. You're very strong with Rhilech and Samdi just having finished your Ghost Blade, and you're still kind of waiting for like Noah to finish off that Triforce.
Should have it, yeah.
There it is, yeah.
He has it now, but it is a 2k gold lead for Samdi. So I think it's going to be really hard for GIANTX to contest this Dragon. I think they should just drop it. I mean, Isma is on Krux as well, really far away. He could look to Grand Star fall in, but I think it's a tough contest here. But it doesn't look like Navi wants to start it up just yet. They want to try to fix their lanes first, have Poby push out bot, which buys GIANTX a lot of actually time here to try to contest this. But it is still at quite a gold disadvantage, as the only person with a gold lead is Lot.
Parus playing with a lot of confidence, stepping that far forward, but when Isma isn't in the area, it's pretty easy for him to just dance and dodge around a lot of those major cooldowns. Ocean Drake started up and pulled out, but they decide not to commit too hard here, as they already have some action happening on the top side of the map. You can see Jackie's is laning up against Maynter now, who started to proxy.
And GIANTX wanted to buy some time for Isma to finish off Raptor so we could hit level 10. And that's where now they're starting to try and fight back, but again, this very slow around the objective. As now that Navi have pushed out waves, they feel comfortable to go for it.
Reset for Jackie's, has the teleport available, maybe going to finish the second item. I can't imagine he has enough gold, but will at least be able to buy something as Maynter just continues to proxy, hoping to delete waves. Noah getting a little bit of a chunk on Rhilech, but not too much here. And the Drake's already gone.
Yeah, I felt a little bit too slow for me from Navi, because I feel like they could have done that a minute ago. They're so much stronger that you can see that GIANTX, they really need a great way of entry to try to retake control, and with Maynter just pushing in on top as well, I mean, it's an easy Drake for Navi.
Yeah, but it was really weird lane assignments from GIANTX. Like, Jackie's kind of just hovered mid and didn't really do anything. You had Lot that was there as well. No one went to catch the wave, so Maynter was just able to get the wave top and crash some and get plates. So GIANTX kind of floundering on what they wanted to do in that situation.
And to be fair, Jackie's was up there. He just pushed the wave in, walked past Jackie's with his Kainic Rookern, and then just started taking the next wave. And this is one of the problems we talked about, right? You're also building Proto Belt on Aurora. You have no chance in hell of killing a tank. There's no damage.
But Chobi built Proto Belt. Draco.
That's true. The thing is, he's really good, I'm sure, at killing other people on the map, but he's laning against the Sion, which is not ideal, as now we finally have the Sion all going in. Unfortunately, guys, the magical journeys have just been so clean.
I mean, the magical journeys are clean, but come on.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, we get Samdi's flash, but we use the TP, we use the Pantheon ult, and now with Samdi TPing back, Noah's chunked, so he has the base, and it's a free Herald.
And I gotta say, I was really skeptical about the Bard against so many mobile champions on the opposite side, but Parus with the Tempered Fates, with the Portals has been good, and GX have not been firing at the same time. They've not all been on the same page in these plays, and it's made it so easy for them to get out of these situations that in other games against other players feel like easy kills, easy pickups.
Yeah, I do think the Bard was a takeaway from Jund to be like, hey, look, these guys look decent on the pick, but also we have a Varus that is going to be very vulnerable on mid-wave to things like the Pantheon and that, so let's just try and remove the tool. But either way, it's doing exactly as you're saying, Draco. It's like helping people get into positions that they should, but GIANTX just haven't really been coordinated on where they want to go. Their ults from this Pantheon have been relatively defensive, apart from that one there. It feels like they just are scrambling to get any sort of control over the map.
Yeah, I think the Pantheon ultimates have not been how you would want them to, but I think we got to go back to the draft. We saw this Bard pick, and we thought to ourselves, it's a horrendous Bard game. You're up against so many mobile carries. It's so hard to use that Tempered Fate and get much value out of it, but they had a great laning phase where they actually were ahead in CS despite the Neeko Ezreal, and Parus has been proactive on the map, saved his teammates, and just played phenomenal.
Yeah, Parus locked in. There you go. That's know it as well. 0, 1, and 3 thus far, but just doing so much to save them in these sticky situations. Portal feeling a little bit like a Lantern in this game, which is something that GX don't have a lot of counterplay for.
It's also, I don't feel like Lot has really got the advantages that he should have on this Gwen. Like, you got a plate in the top side, sure, a little bit of CS, but this pick was invested in. Like, denying Jackie's been able to early pick things like the Talia and the Yone, and hasn't really got the advantages that it should. And now, like Jack called it out at the start, this Gwen isn't really in a position to take over this game. And that kind of needed to happen, because now Poby and Sam D are starting to get in a position where they have range, they're going to be able to do some good work, and Rhilech is just getting to run around the map and be a massive threat playing off of this fog of war.
Yeah, Rhilech is terrifying to deal with, and Jack, I imagine you feel quite the same about Gwen overall, because Lot, we've seen the blueprint of what this can be overall. Pushback not going to connect. Again, nice dash there coming out from Jackie's, just to make sure he doesn't get clipped by Rhilech, so the play's going to fizzle at the very least.
Still, it's NAVI that has full control there of top side. Samdi's intelligently respecting on mid, but Parus put some nice wards, and Rhilech is going to be able to take these Krugs, so it's still a win for them, I'd say, despite them not being able to pick up the kill. Poby also picks up a plate, but I share your worries, Dagda. I think the thing is, Gwen at this stage, in team fights, yeah, she can have a huge pop-off moment, but there's a lot of champions that can really delay and annoy her, with Sion being so tanky, with Parus having that Tempered Fate, Samdi has the arrows and just the chains. There's a lot that she has to worry about to really make that montage happen, and if she then misuses her W and that goes on cooldown, she's completely useless.
I think she also needs to get value out of this ultimate, because with Edge of Night now finishing on Sam D, you kind of need to get one of those needleworks to pop that shield, or otherwise Jund's ult doesn't really have major targets. Zhonya's is there for Poby, not going to be able to really do work there, so a lot of these kind of tools that GIANTX have aren't really getting value unless NAVI misplay.
Very true.
Or Jackie's actually just getting rid of the Edge of Night there with the Hextech Protobelt. So maybe that's why it's, you know.
Small advantages. 40-second cooldown traded for, I believe, a 40-second cooldown is, I will just shout out to Parus, Swifties, Deadmans, and a Blood Song. It's a solo queue style Bard, and frankly, I like it, you know?
But it's also one that you see a lot when it's, you need kind of the engage, because you need those slowing auto attacks to help out. Lars, I forget his name. There's a Bard name.
Yeah.
Thank you. Who keeps, who does a lot of videos on it, and he kind of talks about how this is actually optimal when you need to be more engaged Bard, because you've only really got a Sion or like Rhilech is kind of pseudo subjective when he can.
Yeah. Conditional engage option as we see the Herald. The mount up is there from Maynter. He's driving it into Noah. Now there's a Pantheon all coming down, and this is actually quite bad for Maynter. He abandoned his backline, and GX are now looking to pounce, but it might not matter. Lock going face first into Maynter, but he doesn't have the damage to shred through that tanky health bar. They've taken out Rhilech. They've taken a Drake. Jax is going invisible as he gets the reset off the kill. Isma going right back in as Jackie tries to follow. A Tempered Fate on the Bunny Rabbit, but no one is in position to fire the blast back and find a kill. Lot running for his life as Maynter tries to get one in exchange. The blast cone there just in time. It looks like a heist, but GX managed to get it.
But GIANTX can't kill this Sion. They just don't have the damage, despite the fact that they take down Rhilech so early and they secure the dragon. As soon as Maynter got out of that Herald, I mean, they can't kill him. They don't have the damage.
It was a weird decision on the Herald, though, because you spot Lot on vision.
Yeah,
you see that Jund is in a weird place. Like, the front line just ran away.
Yeah.
GIANTX were like, okay, cool, let's go. They get onto Rhilech, who was the one target we said didn't have a Zhonya's or an Edge of Night. So GIANTX get the pick. They managed to get the dragon. And then they do overextend a little bit here, hoping for a bit more, give a kill back. But honestly, in the grand scheme of things, you're just happy to stop the Dragon stack.
It's a win, all things considered, for GIANTX. They're still down, I believe, 4,000 gold? Yeah, 4,500 gold. But just being able to deny them that soul point is really big. But you can see the difficulties that GIANTX has going up against this Sion. Because if that Herald didn't exist, I would dare to say that Navi would just win that fight.
Yeah, 100%. Also, the Gwen blocked Varus ult. Like, a lot of little things came together. Jun got a creative flank that in a slower front to back where they had that vision control wouldn't be there. But that just shows us that it is possible for GX, that Navi are not a team without these little faults, without these little missteps in the setup. Maybe they're getting over-eager. They definitely feel ahead, and it's showing in their gameplay in the sense that these little missteps are starting to creep in, and it's something that GX can exploit.
Yeah, it's something that we kind of highlighted a couple of times, where the front line and back line from Navi not always on the exact same page. We'll have to see if they can improve as this game goes on. Or Maynter's just been playing a little bit of too much ARAM Mayhem and was like, wait, I can get 2 ults. One in the Herald, and then I can ult after, and I knock up both people with charges. Yeah.
Kind of sick, to be fair. We didn't take that into account. Maybe that's what he's playing for. I thought it was top 4 in the LEC, but cool things are also something you can play for. Currently, they're going all in on Lot. Lot of vulnerable to any potential fall. Lot actually incredibly tanky, as now they're going to get the pushback from Rhilech, but they're not going to find the wall. Somdi on the way down. Good damage to come through, but they need to be careful about Jackies. Ulti connects on the Somdi. Somdi getting the initial Banshee's Veil proc as Isma starts to run. Will just get cut down. Maynter still on the chase. Parus on the way, getting the dash out from Lot. GX getting run down here in the bottom lane.
That was such a good ulti by Rhilech to peel him off and be able to get out safely. In which case, Navi were able to run down Isma there. It looked quite dire since Lot was doing so much damage, but it's going to result in just 1 kill for GIANTX. No, for Navi, I mean. And flash from Rhilech burnt and not much else.
Oh, yeah, you're not out damaging the Varus.
I mean, that's a big win.
I mean, the crab take is a bit awkward because it's not even in, like, usually you see crab takes in line with Dragon for one of the teams, so then they can kind of set up. So maybe Noah just kind of realizing, hey, we're going to lose control. Hopefully we can take it, but still snuck away. Even here, though, like, Navi are in such a good spot. You have kills going on towards Poby, Samdi's in a great spot. You're going to be able to continuously push in these waves, and Isma doesn't have ult now until the Dragon comes up, which means you're under very little threat now of overextending. Like, Poby's free to hit these towers because he doesn't have to worry about a Pantheon coming in behind him.
And Navi are pushed super far up to get this tier 2 tower, but again, you highlighted, without the ulti there, without the threat of a flank, one could come from a teleport, but most of the vision was cleared. There's no reason they can't just push a little bit further. Maynter there to catch the top wave. Baron potentially on the table soon, but if there's anything we've learned from, well, at least this one game of League of Legends, maybe Drake will be the priority.
Also, just kind of keep seeing Jackie's moving with the team here, and I can understand hoping to make a play, but with no ult, I think you just have to let it go. But it doesn't mean Maynter gets to push in this top wave for free. Jackie's now only moving to the top side. He doesn't have teleport, so he's going to waste time here trying to get this play, then have to reset and make it back down towards Dragon. So just kind of awkward timing, it feels like at times, as to where GIANTX are putting members on the map and who is the one collecting a wave, because the lack of TP that's there.
Yeah, and I mean, Navi are just able to push in both sides at the same time here, which is really a rarity that you get to do that. You can see that Poby pushed in bot, Maynter pushed in top, which allows them to have such easy control of this Dragon, and it means that Jackie's now needs to drop that top wave to try to group on mid.
Exactly, he has to come across, but you haven't lost any gold as Navi, and the longer you kind of chill here as Navi, the more it's going to be lost. So yeah, it's just weird plays here a little bit from GIANTX. And now Navi still controlling this area. It's going to be tough for GIANTX to break through this choke point.
Yeah, a lot of the reason this gold lead continues to grow is because Navi have just had better lane assignments. You've highlighted. You can look in that top lane, those little tiny dots. Every time one of those minions is dying, and there's going to be a lot of them that are Navis, they're denying potential gold income from the sides of GX, which only makes this lead feel bigger and bigger. Lost to one person with an advantage, but Isma needs to be careful. He's the wrong way, but they weren't ready for that little misplay, so they didn't immediately follow up.
Yeah, but it is still going to be Navi with full control of this Dragon, and you can see GIANTX, they tried to face check first with Jun, then with Isma, and both of them got chunked. They dropped the Dragon without any sort of cross map, and I don't think the game is getting much better with time, so they really need to find some sort of avenue here to try to utilize this Pantheon ult to get a numbers advantage, or for Jun to get a crazy engage.
And I think they have to try and get some resources into Lot. We already talked about how there's pressure on him to be that carry, and I think he should be the one that's picking up this top lane CS, but instead, he's kind of just been sitting in this bottom side, not able to do particularly much. But as you were saying, like, he could have been getting top tower right now, gotten some bounty plates for himself, actually been in a really good spot. But instead, we're kind of just seeing Jackies taking a lot of this farm on the easier side of the map to farm, and I don't think it's the correct call for GIANTX.
Yeah, I think at GIANTX they're playing as if they could contest every objective, but that's not the nature of the game when you're down 6,000 gold. You need to be willing to split map, find the cross map on the other side, and they haven't been doing that, so they're just continuing to fall further behind. With Navi now picking up the third raid, trying to build towards that 7,000 gold lead, and now it's full Nash control.
And we, of course, have the advantage of seeing the entire map, but you can see how little GX see because Parus walks into 2 people. If they had perfect information, they one-shot him, but they have no vision. They don't want to take that risk. They don't want to take that play of a tempered fate or a potential escape from him drawing out a fight when he has allies nearby.
But he's also surprisingly tanky with the dead mans, right? That's also the other value that you get from the item, so I think that's why Parus is feeling a little bit happier to just try and go for these plays. And now, again, Navi get to push in. And as much as we're kind of dogging on GIANTX, I think Navi have played this exceptionally well. Like, they've been working with Parus and Rhilech, moving into positions that just make GIANTX incredibly uncomfortable. And as you're highlighting, like, they have to back away, because if Rhilech is suddenly in behind you, well, then an ult just completely turns around the play.
Yeah, it's a 7-kill game. Their lead is not, it's not from bloodshed.
Yeah.
It's from better macro. It's from certainly more plates, better lane assignments as well. And again, the one kind of, so we were talking about yesterday, silver lining, the one little bit of hope is Lot with this individual gold lead. He can, if he finds an angle in a fight, do a lot of work, but with how much damage is going to be coming out from this Navi lineup, the rest of his team might be dead by the time he gets the opportunity.
I mean, the problem as well is, we saw it now off screen, that Lot tried to push in both here and tried to reach that tower. He got chunked to half and just had to recall. So he can't actually progress solo on a side lane, which is really one of the win cons that you want to have when you play such a split pusher like the Gwen, because that allows your team to get pressure from your side, but that's just not happening. So that means that Navi can continue holding this top side control for pretty much as long as they want to, up until Soul spawns.
Rhilech getting a bit extra gold off the first strike just by hitting Jun's clone here. Slowly fighting for vision control. Jun, good use of the clone to like hold on to as much vision as they can, because GX are just getting steadily pushed out of their own jungle.
I think what they're hoping for is they can make a TP play. Oh, well, that was perfect timing. Into the, there's a ward just on mid there and behind Samdi. They may be looking for it now, actually.
Samdi chunked out, Rhilech on the retreat. Pantheon on the way to mid, it's too late. Thought that maybe they would try to turn it, but Navi are so patient. They don't want to commit there. They already lost 50% HP. Now they're going all in onto Parus. Parus going to flash out. Parus going to fall. That's a big start. TP now coming in from GX. Maybe this is an opportunity to get an objective as Jun is one shot by Rhilech, who's forced to flash away. Doesn't have a reset on the W quite yet, so Noah's going to grab another kill. Navi getting greedy.
And suddenly GIANTX find the pick that they need. It's just a little bit of an overextension, and that might just be bar for GIANTX.
Yeah, I thought the Grand Starfall was not the best, but it ends up leading to them into the situation. Now they're 4 versus 2 here with Poby joining, but Samdi does a lot of damage with his arrows, and GIANTX, they need to back off. Still, we take a breath. It's still a 6,000 gold lead. It's still 1 minute to Soul for Navi. You get one oopsie, you get one, as long as you play this Soul fight out well.
They've had 2. Just to be clear, they've had 2 oopsies, and their gold lead is still...
This one was a bigger one.
No, one of them was an oopsie. One of them was my bad.
And the observers are highlighting. Parus, a little too confident. He's had great movement this game, but at some point you will still just get point and click, or Ezreal Q. You are not that tanky. You don't have Celestial opposition. And now you have a Gwen right on top of you. That's not looking great, but luckily the Emperor has divided this fight at the very least. Is Lot still on the chase, but he's running out of steam here. Poby, how long left on the shifting sand is the big question. Yeah. That's going to be the flash burn, but now Poby wants to go back in, and suddenly it's Lot who has to run for his life.
Oh, Poby, does he reach with the WQE?
Isma there to cover, luckily. Lot's blinking Hellfire means that the setup on this objective, I mean, Poby has no TP, Lot doesn't either.
Navi wants to try to continue canceling Lot's base. That way he won't be in time for the Drake spawn. So they just want to try to get this bot pressure here, push them in. So Lot is basing really far away, but that does mean he's going to be too late for the Dragon. Spawning in 10 seconds, and he's yet to arrive in base.
They're putting pings on the wards in behind them, though, over by the Raptor pit.
But it
could be an angle. Yeah,
Isma
actually true, yeah.
Lot's ulti will be up shortly if they can make it to the fight in time. But the objective has already been started. GX have no presence in the pit whatsoever. Isma might be starting to ult. He's standing still in the pit, waiting for an angle. Maynter body blocking everyone. The objective getting lower and lower. The Infernal is going to go to the side of Navi. No one is in a position to respond. GX are far too late. Sjokz with the 3-man play to at least take down the support. Somebody on the backline, relatively untouched. Maynter able to find his way out, as is Poby. The re-engage is lethal, though, as Lot knocked up and taken down.
Navi find exactly what they need in the fight. The Dragon Soul, the turnaround with Rhilech, and that might just be the nail in the coffin for GIANTX.
I mean, Navi and Dragons is becoming a tale as old as time. They hold the control so well with Samdi and Parus poking out the rest of GIANTX. GIANTX didn't stand a chance. They wanted to contest, but they were too late. And if we watch the fight back here, you can see that already Noah's trying to have.
Never mind.
No, we're not. We're
not.
Watching them.
Isma's
Is he
looking
gonna
for
steal
redemption.
it?
He died. Oh,
And now, factory
back. Okay, one more time. Let's run it again. There we go. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, so it starts off with Samdi poking Noah down to half. I love the way Samdi and Maynter are holding the space here, buying time for Rhilech or Poby to finish the Dragon. And then Jun gets a 2-man engage, but it's on the Bard and the Sion. So even though Lot wants to continue going forward, Rhilech gets the ultimate, and Lot unfortunately flashes back into the Qiyana queue.
My bad, I should have ulted, guys. Sorry.
Very matter of fact.
Well, if he wanted to try to steal the Drake, that was their only hope, but you saw it on the Nash. It's pretty damn difficult to steal an objective blind 1v5.
And I think for GIANTX now, is just trying to consider what's going to happen in game number 2, because I will say from the identity we've seen from GIANTX, this felt like a very strange game. Like, not really giving resources towards Noah and Jun on that bottom side, which have been the standout players on this roster, and then trying to play much more of a macro-oriented game, which isn't really their style either. I'm curious if they want to try and like shift back over towards a bit more of a team fight composition, which has worked well.
I think it was a mistake to give Varus. I mean, you saw it in this game, just how much value it's having, and it made it so that Noah and Jun weren't able to win the lane. And Noah, while his stat line is 3-0, it's pretty good. Samdi has had way more impact in this game and in the team fight. And if GIANTX are to win this series, it needs to be through Noah and Jun. And I also just don't like the Aurora.
Yeah,
I couldn't tell that one.
I mean, a lot of little things, but you highlighted it. I think our analysis is that Noah needs to be the guy set up for success. Instead, you know, they banned so much away from Rhilech. He's still able to find a creative option. They got Pantheon a power pick that they couldn't really make work. The Gwen hasn't been there, so a lot of it feels like the direction. Well, I'm sure that there's some context from scrims. There's a reason they wanted to go for it. Ultimately, wasn't one that worked out for them in game. Maybe they try to run it back. It's hard to say, but after a game like this, I imagine we see a massive pivot because it is LEC. I can't say this game is over. I can literally never say that in LEC. And sometimes I'd really like to say that it's over, and it should be by all accounts. But you never know. Navi have had 2 oopsies this game. Perhaps there could be a consecutive third, fourth, fifth, and 6th oopsie back to back.
It's a Varus with nearly full build Infernal Soul. Let's just see how much damage the Q does.
You're building up in a mega cash right now.
We'll see how much damage the Varus
This is the point in the game where I think we can all agree where GX are thinking about game 2. How do you adjust? What are the pivots? What can you do to stop yourself from getting in this situation? That's going to be another initial engage going out. Aegis assault to block a bit more damage, and Santi goes down! What were you saying, Jack? Anything is possible as Maynter starts to fall as well. Rhilech goes into the entire team. The knockup is there, and Noah is still untouched for a brief moment. Navi should still probably end this one.
What were you saying, Dracos? Rhilech comes in with the ultimate, and he takes down all of GIANTX. Just as I had predicted, the Infernal Soul. Wow, so much damage from Navi.
Great prediction, Jack. The Varus with a 4K gold lead, immediate one-shot. It did not matter. The lead, too big. GX, too little, too late, I believe, is the saying at this particular point in the game. Jackies and Noah trying to hold the line.
He's kind of doing some damage.
Noah is doing some damage. He's about to hit the 40 Q threshold on Maynter. Someone needs to stop them from hitting the Nexus. Poby's unafraid to hit the Nexus. They're going to hit the Nexus.
Poby's like that guy in A-Rap Mayhem that stands. Come on.